All right, so now we're going to talk about the second example on representing linear functions. So our table shows the relationship between the number of photos that we take and the amount of memory in megabytes left on the camera's memory chip. So what it's asking is the relationship a linear function? So we're going to be looking to see if it creates a line, and then describe the relationship using words, an equation, and a graph. So I'm going to use the table to help to help myself decide where things are. The quickest thing that we can do is, because we have the table, we can create the graph. Excuse me. So our X value is going to be photos taken. And the Y value is going to be memory left. So memory. I'm going to count by ones across the bottom. And we're going to count by twos starting at 500. So I'm going to make this like a little break. And then we're at, 502, 504, 506, 508, 510, and then 512, because that's where we start. All right. So I'm going to graph these first. So 0 is at 512. So I'm going to put a dot there, hopefully. Put a dot there. 1 is at 509. So that's halfway between 8 and 10. Maybe. And then 2 is at 506. And 3 is at 503. All right, so that is our points. So for each photo, this is where we are. Now, what I've noticed is from 512 to 509, that was minus 3. 509 to 506, we subtracted 3. And from 503 to 506, we subtracted 3. Whereas on the other side, we are adding 1 each time. So what this tells me is we have a constant rate of change, which is one of the indicators of a linear function. And when we look at our graph, our dots create a line, not a curve. And so, yes, this is linear. So that answers that first question. Is the relationship a linear function? And yes, it is a linear function. Now, we have described it using a graph. I think the next easiest thing is to write an equation. So y is going to equal, when we look at this, we're starting at 512. It tells us that at 0 photos, we're at 512. So we're not going to go beyond 512. So at 512, each time we take a picture, we subtract 3 megabytes. So we're going to subtract 3 for every picture X. And so that's going to be a minus 3X. And so that's our equation. 512 minus 3X. And now we need to put it into words. So in words, the amount of memory, that should be an R, of memory left on the chip is 512 minus the quantity of 3 times the number of photos taken. Photos taken. And so that's how we can verbally describe what we did. And so kind of, you know, when it comes to the equation and the words, it's whatever helps you or whatever Math Excel wants you to match first. That's another way that will be determined. We do have more to our lesson. We're going to start talking about the nonlinear side. But to keep our videos short and sweet, we're going to call this it for this video. So until next time, 8th grade.